Just about a mile from Lower Largo is Genesis Creations in Lundin Links, and this is the main studio building. Carol Penny's car stands outside. Nice, airy front aspect, which gives a lot of natural light to the studio area. It's here that most of the research and development work is undertaken. Here there's 5 trainees under the watchful eye of Jim Curry, who's our training specialist. And up above is a nicely timbered area which is shortly to become the Genesis Dragon Shop. At the moment we have a small display of the masterpieces, and Carol Penny can be seen in her small studio just inside the glass area there. And now we're looking through into Neil Campbell's office. Carol Penny is the creative director and chairman of the company. Neil Campbell, the research and development director. Looking around Neil's office here, there's masterpieces at various different stages of work, and we're looking through into the back of Carol's small studio. On the wall, some of Carol's watercolours, this one of Bob Geldof. Frank Zappa, I believe. And Just an Old Lady. It's in this small area where Carol creates most of the new pieces, designs all the colours. Now she's working away here on what is to be a Genesis showpiece for selling the products, and it's a small book that will be opened by one of the fantasy creatures and will show that Genesis creates fantasy. Most of these pieces are made out of wax. There are many stages that products go through before they end up as a finished piece, such as this. And in fact, we'll go and have a look at Alan Harrow, one of our castle sculptors, or at least our main castle sculptor. Alan's in the middle of his towering castle of crystal.
The bit of stone and the castle just rises with the spin. It's sculpted with needles, knives, small screwdrivers, all sorts of bits and pieces.
What sort of rock is it?
It's a crystal of some sort, I'm not sure of the name.
And how long do you reckon that's taken you out?
60, 65 hours maybe, on and off.
So most of the Genesis fantasy pieces start life as wax. You can see the Tudor style cottages here at the base of the Crystal Castle, and all the brickwork made out of the various tools that Alan and Carol use in the creation of these pieces. I wouldn't fancy climbing that staircase. And all the paths that have to be followed before you can get to the finished piece stage, many of them come about at the Lundin Links studio. Here there's new artists being trained. This one's Sandra Thompson and Errol Miller. This is Joe Dorman, and he in fact is responsible for making sure that Neil Campbell's pioneering work on the creation of moulds is carried out correctly. Here he's got the device for making a skin mould around one of the fantasy castles. It's vital that these things interlock exactly. And there you can see where the silicon rubber is poured in to surround the castle. And here Joe is just about to remove the banding that holds the plaster together to reveal an actual skin mould. This is a production mould that will be used to make the finished pieces for painting. And there's a lot more masterpieces. These are the real value. Here Joe's creating one of the moulds for bookends. It's a production mould being made. The silicon rubber being poured in through the plaster of Paris. Of all the materials we use, the silicon rubber is the most expensive. Other end of the workshop, there are various files and drills and so on for research work. And here's the vacuum drawing out the air bubbles from the silicon rubber. Meanwhile, Jim Curry trains one of the new artists.
What's the big strokes? Big strokes. Like instead of we dab, we use long strokes to cover a wider area. Oh, you're still going to use short strokes. What's with that? A wee bit. Cover, get things quicker. That's what I'm doing. That's why you're taking so long doing them, because sharpness, I know you're using big brush strokes. It's dry brushing, you can go over it fast, really. Trust me.
Dry brushing is a technique where some paint is put on the brush, then wiped off so that the paint is almost dry, and then run across the top of the scales of the dragon, so that none of the detail underneath is filled in with the paint. These are green stone dragons that Sanders painted.
Possibly, I know. Yeah. That's what I used to do. Just wondering again the size of brush I'm using. Think of how much quicker you go. You're not thinking speed-wise. Again. Sorry, Alan.
Training period of an artist is anything up to 3 months. Here are finished pieces by the trainees. And Joe's topping up that bookend mould again with another set of rubber. It's a really long process making something as complicated as a mould for a bookend. Again, the vacuum lid going on. Actually got a good seal. There it goes. So looking outside the studio now, we're looking in the other direction past Carol's car to the Marilyn Cottage, which is next door, and this is where the office facilities are. Maureen Harmsworth's car, that's my sister's car. She's the personnel manager and she works in this section. And my own vehicle. Let's go inside and have a look. Now this is Yvonne Jack, who answers the telephone and does all our computer work. She's not very amused at being filmed, and she's on the phone to the sales director at the moment.
That's not on anyway. I know I've got the on delete because I wrote cancelled in the water. I hope there's not filming that, Mr. Harmsworth. He's standing over there with a single camera. Right, I don't know, but it's in my direction. Why aren't you packing boxes? Not doing anything, just grinning. Right, can I give you a couple of messages for one? Okay.
Most of the clerical work at this end is handled by Yvonne and Maureen, and we have several Amstrad computers which deal with the sales and purchase ledgers.
Rugby.
In Skegness there's another office where Kate Garrett works, and Peter Gray, the sales director.
Yes, Now, first of all, it was the man that came on the phone and said he wanted a brochure.
As well as being an office facility, Marilyn Cottage doubles as a flat for me when I'm staying down in Fife. There are 2 bedrooms downstairs. And here's the map showing all our sales accounts. My goodness, the company has grown over the last 3 years. Well, let's go back into Leven again, which is 3 miles down the road, and we're now at the Levenmouth Business Centre. And this is where our main production facility is. The Levenmouth Business Centre was set up in conjunction with North East Fife and Fife Enterprise Trusts, and also with the Scottish Development Agency and local businesses' help. It's part of the Hawks Law, or at least adjoining the Hawks Law. Now we've got 2 units here. And as coincidence would have it, as I filmed that, our production manager, Alan Gibb, walked out through the doors to his car. Alan's been with the company now for the best part of 3 years. A lot of the chemicals the company uses are inflammable, some are highly volatile, and we have to have an external flam store where most of these chemicals are kept. Let's go in and have a look at the production units in here. We're actually quite cramped at the moment. We only have 2 units, and we could really do with a 3rd one. And we're looking in here towards the casting room, which is where the pieces are made before they're painted. Right, I'm now going to have to shout a bit because of the noise level in here, and it's not just the music, there's all sorts of machinery. But here we're watching the casting room manager, Scott Fowler, pouring some gargoyles, and the various stages he has to go through here. First of all, he's mixing a particular type of compound. Various rocks and so on and powdered chalks are used in these processes. The silicon moulds can be seen on the right hand side, and there's some more powder going into that particular mixture. And although Scott's the casting room manager, he's only 20 years old, so at Genesis age is no barrier to promotion. In is Todd, he's the deputy supervisor in the casting room, and he's demoulding some of our smaller pieces. From here they look like small Neslet struggles. Now if we look closely at this one, the first thing that happens is little flakes of resin are removed from around the entrance and from around the flash lines. Next he takes off the rubber bands, which allows him access to the mould, and you can see the mould has been cut in a number of places, and out comes the struggle. and another fantasy creature's born. Now here's one of our trainee casters, and judging by the t-shirt he's wearing, you wouldn't think the Fife region were actually paying part of his training grant. And he's being trained by Alec Crawford here, who's shortly to move to Lundin Links to work on research and development with Joe Dorman and Neil Campbell. There's a lemon just come out of the mould. You notice as he removes a piece, this particular one's a candle, you'll see him look at it very carefully because he wants to know whether that mould is still good or whether there's any damage incurred, in which case the mould can be either repaired in any way or disposed of. And there's the trainee, and look at the struggle he's having getting the piece out. This shows that even after a few weeks it's not that easy. And look at every finger's got a plaster on it under that glove. Here he is again. So easy when you know how. Well, there's a lemon. You notice they're still shiny at this time. You can't paint them while they're in this form, as various other processes have to happen first. And there's Scott going a little bit further with his gargoyle manufacturer. Davy Proudfoot here is working away with a dentist drill, removing flash lines and any bad marks on one of our castles. That's one of Carol Penny's castles, the Shadow Haven. Genesis's watchword is quality right away from beginning to end, and every piece is examined many times before it reaches the painters. Here we've got racks of finished pieces all ready to be ground to go through into the painting room. Gargoyles, castles, and there's some Urquhart castles with nesses and some nesses with nests, which are one of the newer ranges, and the ice castles and ice dragonettes, rows of struggles waiting to be ground. Now here's Scott again. He's just about ready to pour the more complex side of making a gargoyle, and it'd be quite interesting. Let's go watch him do it. Again, we're looking at techniques here developed by Neil Campbell, and there's the special black compound gone into the white one to create the swirl. And it's important to fill just to the right level, otherwise you can spend hours grinding the bottom of these pieces. Again, some more white. And then the black with the special compound in it. Secret, of course. And there's another gargoyle, almost created. So this is what they look like when they're finished, and they're all ready for painting now, with the swirled area at the bottom of the piece and the white area at the top ready to take the paint. Here's Davy Proudfoot grinding the bottom of some of our smaller Nessa range. This is mini Nessa pack. So look how easy it is. You just do that and out it will come. So easy, no need to strain and struggle. Just a piece of cake casting these things. Any second now, just a tiny flick of the wrist. Show me how it's done, Alec. Just like that. So let's go through into the peace and tranquility of the painting unit next door. Of our nearly 30 painters now, 16 of them work in this section. And here's rows and rows of finished pieces just waiting now for the application of paint. Hundreds of them. Gargoyles there, which we've just seen being made, lying at the top. Kate Templeman started work with Genesis as a home worker, and now she's the painting room production manager. Which is no mean task with a number of youngsters working underneath you. And she's also painting nestlets on castles here. That's Mark Duncan, one of the master artists, painting draglets by the look of things. And a trainee, two trainees opposite here, Martin Fowler, that's Scott Fowler's cousin, and Helen Richards to his right. Trying to get the blend right. Shirley Walker, who's been with us about 9 or 10 weeks, painting fire dragonets. And there's Rachel Burns, who's our deputy supervisor in the painting room, and she's working on green dragonet families. To her right is Paddy Moyle, who paints castles.